Hello and welcome everyone to the mini presentation, just to let you guys know all about the Conscious Detox Mini for Kids and Autism. Basically a short, intensive lifestyle intervention. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this because I know that there are a lot of questions, and so the best thing to do is just address the most commonly asked questions, concerns, and kind of give you an idea of what it's like to work with me and how I bring my gifts to the autism world and why. So a little bit about myself. My name is Natalie Pelto, and I'm so grateful for your time with me. I spent the last 20 years in diagnostics, so I always joke, and it's not a joke, but that I basically spent the last 20 years learning about the insides of the human body. And one thing that I can guarantee you is that all I've seen is chronic illnesses and conditions grow to epidemic proportions in the last 20 years. I have specialties in CAT scan, bone mineral density, radiology, but newest is I am now certified. I have a certificate in lifestyle medicine from Weill Cornell Medicine. And for all of the people in this video or that are watching this video, the most important thing is actually how much education I have in the nutrition world or in the world of toxicity. So the most impactful that you would probably be interested in for children is that I have an advanced child and brain development certification with nutrition. I also am considered a detox specialist. I'm also a nutritional therapist, advanced clinical weight loss practitioner, and I also even brought in more education for cancer prevention and longevity. So you can see that I really have this passion for basically food and how it impacts the human body, especially in the world of our children. I'm one of these big people, or these people who love to chat about the term eating for healing. So let's dive into what the most commonly asked questions are. So let's dive right in and let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to detoxing. Is it safe for kids? Guys, this is a really interesting topic for me because we as a collective are really stuck on this idea that detoxing is to lose weight really fast, that it's part of pop culture. And at no point have we really connected that the amounts of toxic overload are what are linked to so many diseases and illnesses. There are two major components in most conditions and chronic illnesses and autisms and sensory issues. It's toxic overload, nutritional deficiencies, which we have control over, and then our pre-genetic disposition, which I'm not going to get into here. This is something I talk quite a bit at length in the Conscious Detox for Kids, but this is to talk about the safety. So when we realize that this toxic exposure is such a dominating factor in conditions, specifically in autism and ADD, ODD, and ADHD, when we look at those things and we become aware of them, we really do want to address them. And that's something that I'm going to talk about in the coming slides a lot more in depth. But when we think about our children and safety, it should always be number one. So detoxing for a child is not the same as detoxing for an adult. One of the reasons that I'm even confident about this detox is because I have that specialty, that I understand, the different components. We don't remove food groups the same way for children. And by removing food groups, we actually don't really remove too many food groups for kids, only two. They actually are the two that you will hear repetitively should be removed in your journey through autism healings. They are just the most inflammatory foods, and there are only two. So we will dive into that, and I dive to that at length in the Conscious Detox. So is it safe? Absolutely. Not only that, I guide you through understanding and relearning the language, the lost language of you and your child's body. So it's not about removing all these foods and adding all of these juices and these things. No, it's not like that at all. It's about transitioning to a more predominantly plant-based way of living. I'm not saying, and please don't take that as you have to take away meat. That is not what I'm saying at all. But what we're using now is we're going into this with the understanding and idea that we're going to be using food as medicine. And we should know by now that fruits and vegetables are the medicine. So let's dive into a little bit more about that. I'm actually going to give you guys the whole curriculum. So first, I want to talk about what other options are there. Like, what else is out there for autistic children and children who are suffering from sensory and all of the other umbrella conditions? Well, we've got ABA, we've got speech and occupational therapy. We have people who really promote diet changes without detox, with the fear of it being unsafe, and they don't likely understand what detoxing really is, or maybe that's not the word for it. I'm not someone who likes to knock other people, but understanding that this is actually a really crucial component in the journey, and that if you don't tackle it first, you're not really going to advance as quickly. So we have a lot of choices out there, and they each have their own benefits. Some of these can be done while you're detoxing. Some of these are extremely expensive. Some of these with naturopaths and doctors are absolutely atrocious in price, but probably somewhat effective. There's also now, that I forgot to add in here, is good, is not ABA, but biomed, which I've seen great results with. So I'm not someone to judge that either. It's just some of these therapies are just out of price range for certain parents. Okay, so why using a removal system gets results faster, guys. So I'm going to talk about this at length in the detox, but in a nutshell, to understand that if we had basically any ecosystem, rainforest, beach, whatever, if there is garbage on there and there are things that are destroying the landscape, if you don't get rid of that garbage first, then the ecosystem can't rebuild itself. It doesn't matter how many nice things or how many more trees you plant. If you don't get rid of the garbage that all these, like, let's just say that if we think about the ecosystem in the rainforest, we're thinking about all of these animals and agriculture that's, you know, defecating, and it's just destroying it. Palm oil sourcing. So we have to look at it is that if you don't take out the part that is harming the ecosystem, you will have that much longer, because inevitably you're going to have to do it. So why not do it at the beginning? So clear the ecosystem, because inevitably it needs to be done first. Okay, so let's talk about the course curriculum for kids and what this looks like. I highly always recommend that families do this together. It's no different than any other healing. We have to model by example, and our children follow our lead. So the course curriculum is very simple. It is only 3 modules. Now, some of the videos are taken from the actually full detox that I have for adults. So you'll probably hear a couple different terms in there about a month-long detox. It's not, it's only 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks, because it has a preparation area. So the first part is, what can detoxing do for you? Lessons 1, what is detoxing, family, kids, autism, all these just basically things to understand as you're going into a detox. Module 1 is absolutely probably the most powerful module in this entire detox. This is where we prepare, we learn how to implement new habits. There are some pretty big bonuses in here that I actually took from one of my past membership portals. And so on top of having weekly tracking sheets and getting understanding of where we've personally been exposed to toxicity for our chemicals, to heavy metals, and our GI tract, this is actually really powerful, guys. This is actually what makes it very different from anything else, is looking at what your past exposure and being like, oh my goodness, aha, that's where the problem is. So am I still being exposed to these things? And then really kind of pulling from that and really being conscious about using either different substances or different things in your life, in your home. And then there's the testing of our personal detoxification capacity and choosing our detox plan. This is a kids detox plan, so this is already chosen for you. And then effective meal planning and prepping, that is a huge bonus. This is actually what keeps everyone successful. A Life by Design masterclass. So this seems a little bit like not part of this detox, but actually it is, because you as a parent are the one who is leading the way in in scheduling. And so this is how to create the vision for your family. This is about scheduling effectively. So it's a great bonus to have. And then toxic swaps. So for my families who are more frugal, who are unable to afford large programs, and you likely can't afford expensive products. And so this is an amazing frugal living guide that actually swaps out toxic substances with low cost options that are natural. Module 2 is all about diving into cleaning up and recalibrating our chemistry. We do this by removing things that harm and bringing in. So in most of my detoxes, it's all about removing things, yes, the things that harm us, but that often leads to this feeling of missing out. And so we always use a replacement system. So by cleaning up the junk, taking out the bad stuff, we also bring in some good stuff. So there's a replacement system. So you're just really getting things that are going to recalibrate the chemistry in children, open up pathways in a way that is slow and safe using only food. We're not using a whole lot of supplementations. There's a couple tips for essential oils in there if that's of interest, but you don't need to have them. It's completely using nature food, understanding screen time dilemmas. This is a really, again, powerful module. And then the elimination portion is where we see kind of a transition. So this is all about removing the 2 most inflammatory substances that we tend to be exposed to as children. And if you can do this portion, then this is usually where you get to celebrate. And people will often stay in this section for a few years, depending on how much they see symptoms start to remove. And it's quite safe to do so for a little bit. Some people never go back to that. To the way they were before. So I just wanted to finish this off with telling you guys that it's my intention to show up in integrity, offer value to my clients and their families. Feel free to explore my website, testimonials, and information. If you're ready to start this part, it's super easy. I've actually fallen in love with the QR code system, so you can easily just enroll in the detox, and it is at a price of $99. So it's completely affordable for any family. If you have questions about it a little bit more, I hope that it's put you at ease about the safety. And if you have any other questions or you want my social links, again, just scan the QR code. It will bring you to my link tree and you can see all of my social links there so that we can connect and get to know each other a little bit better. I want to thank you so much. If you have, again, any more questions, the email was on the prior slide, so feel free to email me or click the QR code so that we can connect through Messenger or Instagram or any of those lovely things. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you guys later.